Somebody asked if I'm all in on nothing ever happens. I don't know what would happen between Israel and Iran. What do you think would happen? Iran can't invade Israel. I don't feel like Iran has any airplanes. They can lob some missiles over to Israel, which I think they've already done. They don't seem to have much success there. Israel's never ground invading Iran. I don't know why the U.S. would get involved. The only thing Israel wants to do is disable Iranian nuclear facilities. I guess the scariest possible thing that could happen, I guess, if I was looking for something really scary, the scariest possible thing would be Israel publicly communicating or Iran communicating or something, or it becomes clear that Israel was not able to sufficiently degrade Iran's nuclear program. That would be the scary thing, because at that point, then you're starting to look at Israel doing escalating measures. I think it's low, but I think there would be like a non-zero chance. No, the U.S. would get involved first. So I think there might be a non-zero chance that Israel would use nuclear weapons against Iran. But I think Israel would communicate that to the U.S., and I think the U.S. might get involved before that. Just as crazy it would be for the U.S. to get involved. Obviously, nobody wants anybody nuking anybody. I've seen people talking about how Israel may be pushing for a regime change. Do you think it's possible? I mean, they want it, obviously. They fucking hate. They fucking hate Iran and Khomeini and Ayatollah. They don't want to deal with that shit. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how much power Israel would have to force that. Also, most of the people in Iran, I don't even think like the regime. I don't know. Again, I don't know Iranian history or how that country works well, so I can't tell you like what the chances of that happening are. But Israel themselves have stated that they won't be able to destroy Iran's nuclear program with just airstrikes. I would have to see they're going to say whatever publicly, but you have to like see what the military movements are and what the posturing is of other powers around the world. Can you address the Israeli astroturfing on the subreddit? I don't know. When we see them, we ban them. There's a lot of like annoying fucking pro-Pali people and then annoying fucking crazy Israeli people that show up to do their bullshit. But aren't today's nukes just extremely powerful bombs? Wait. I heard the fallout isn't really an issue anymore. If so, what's the problem? Well, the problem is the bombs are incredibly powerful. They're very, 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 very powerful. I didn't even realize how, because when we looked up like the tactical nuclear weapon, my assumption would be that these are like on the scale of like big bombs, but even tactical nuclear weapons, they're very powerful. Number one. Number two, no, nuclear fallout I don't think has ever really been a huge concern. Even with the shittier, less efficient bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I mean, like it is the thing immediately, but it's not like that's the fear is like the nuclear radiation or fallout or whatever. It's just the fact that the destructive capacity is insanely huge. The scariest thing, in my opinion, is right now, there's a huge taboo around nuclear anything. There's a big, big, big taboo around it. And I worry that if like one person uses a nuclear weapon, it's going to kind of pop the lid off that, and everybody's going to be kind of looking at their nuclear arsenals, and their military options will have expanded everywhere, and I think that would be really scary. Is there a world where these far lefties would argue and justify Iran using nuclear weapons on Israel? Yeah, of course. They don't give a fuck. Remember, to an ML, the destruction or the eradication of any Western nation is always justified, 100%. So this would be scary stuff that I would see. Israel's airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites have damaged some above-ground research facilities, but do not appear to have eliminated the thousands of centrifuges buried underground or hundreds of pounds of material, according to experts. This is bad. Because, yeah, I don't think Israel will tolerate Iran getting a nuclear weapon. And my guess would be that most of the regional actors would implicitly or explicitly support Israel bombing Iran until all that shit is blown up. Israel claimed they had air superiority over Tehran earlier this morning. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do. They have fucking F-35s, right? It gives you air superiority over almost any enemy in the world, except for maybe China and Russia. Maybe, would be my guess. But that doesn't necessarily mean they have the appropriate weapons or intel to strike all the places that they need to strike, or to destroy all the things they need to destroy, maybe. But I think Israel didn't Netanyahu say this was an operation that he was planning to take days? So Should the U.S. bomb the Iranian nuclear facilities if Israel can't? I don't know. That's a really, really, really rough one. Saudi Arabia and Israel, I think, would both be very, 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 very unhappy if Iran, and once they have one, they can just start producing. It would be spooky. However, I mean, personally, vibes, we're doing vibes geopolitics right now. I don't feel like Iran is the type of super crazy, unstable nation that would just start randomly nuking people. But like Elon was saying yesterday, I hate to agree with him on anything, it gives Iran so much more of a pass to basically do whatever the fuck they want in the region, and they love fucking around in the region because now it's harder to attack them when they can theoretically retaliate with a nuclear weapon. It makes everybody less comfortable with that. Yeah, and then like in the background, the truly horrifying thing is we have no more quote unquote deep state. We have no more like trained people or intelligent people running the ship anywhere, steering the ship. We have Trump and now all of his Fox News host friends who unfortunately are just stupid. It's truly the most horrifying thing. Like if we disagreed geopolitically, like if it was like a Rubio type person or even a JD Vance type person, as much as I don't like those people ideologically, like even a Hitler type person, if we just had an intelligent person, the problem is our current leadership is so stupid. They don't have a mind for politics at all. They don't have a mind for, or at least nothing internationally. They don't have an understanding or care of the region. They don't have so I mean, necessarily, they don't have any kind of long-term or medium-term or short-term comprehensive vision or plan for anything. Like this was the guy. Fuck, who has the clip? This was the guy that we are sending as a foreign.
Steve, thank you.
He's our foreign envoy. We sent this guy to Russia and Israel, and
doesn't want Hamas in its border. They don't want that. What can the U.S. deliver that?
Well, first of all, I think the largest issue in that conflict are these so-called four regions: Donbass,
Yes.
Crimea. You know the names,
Lugansk, yeah.
Lugansk, and there's two others.
kill me, bro. Kill me. We're all dead. The fuck? Hello? This is our foreign envoy that is negotiating, in all these other countries? Hello? Is the only one for Israel at this point regime change? Diplomacy is dead at this point, and it is pretty much just going to be whack-a-mole, military strikes forever, or Iran just gets the bomb and something happens. Again, I'm just being honest and not knowing the history. I don't know. I can't even tell you. I don't know why Iran fucking hates Israel so much and Saudi Arabia so much. I don't know where the huge impetus comes from for them to just fight forever and ever and ever. I don't know where. I don't know what it stems from. I don't know why. But technically, Israel is winning the long-term somehow. Well, I say somehow, but it truly has been off the backs of their military shit. And I think as time goes on, the situation degrades for Iran, and I think the situation improves for the Gulf and Israel, right? I mean, if you look before, for Saddam, you had this unified Assad, Hussein, was it Ahmadinejad? Was that the guy? Or fuck the name? I don't remember the guy before Khomeini. Or maybe Ahmadinejad was. Am I pronouncing his name right? But you had your big, you had your huge unified, I guess like your Shia axis or whatever the fuck you want to call them, and then you had like a stronger Russia, and everybody supporting them. Saddam fell in Iraq, and then Iraq was kind of clusterfucked for a while with ISIS, which wasn't beneficial for Iranian interests, I don't think. Now Syria, Assad is gone, and you've got a new regime coming in there that I think is probably not. It seems to be more favorable to Israel, I think. You've got Lebanon is starting to take a stronger stand against Hezbollah, whose operations have been severely degraded. Like the map just from what I've seen, the map seems to be getting worse and worse for Iran. Russia is, who the fuck knows what's going on with Russia? They're just fucked. Yeah, the map seems to be getting worse and worse for Iran. It seems to be improving for the Gulf and for Israel. If things continue on this path, you know, you talk about, I mean, I feel like regime change in Iran or something will probably happen, or they'll just fuck off. Like, but I imagine that Iran is probably feeling a bit of pressure, maybe. I don't know. That's a vibe, my feeling. There could be huge things at play that I'm missing, but the Islamic Revolution was almost fully built on hating the degenerate Western culture. It's a continuation of Khomeini's ideology. Okay, maybe. My international relation poli-sci friends keep saying that Israel currently doesn't have the kinds of bombs that can penetrate the bunkers the centrifuges are in. Have you heard something about that? I don't know what weapons capabilities Israel has. When you talk about like 1,000-pound or 2,000-pound bombs, though, isn't the point of that to penetrate like bunker buster shit? I don't know how much those have to wear, what the capabilities have to be there. Can you explain the role of Saudi Arabia in the region and with respect to Israel? I've read and heard a lot about Jordan, Egypt, Syria, and Lebanon since they share a border, and even Yemen. I don't know. I feel Saudi Arabia feels to me like a country who, like, again, I'm vibing this, but Saudi Arabia feels like they kind of want to be Western. They're like, that shit's kind of cool. Like, we're still kind of traditional. We kind of have the Islamic shit going on, but not really. And our leadership, we want to make money. We want to modernize. We just want to be cool. Like, when we want to party, we all fly out to Beirut or we leave the state anyway. I don't know. It feels like Saudi Arabia is, I mean, I think we have a good relationship with them. We have had for a while. Yeah. No, you have separate bombs that are designed to penetrate reinforcements and underground shit. I mean, you can use, if you have like a huge, it's called a Buster rifle, can penetrate, I think, some of the strongest, deepest.
Huh? Where?
Only 3 shots.
Gather all the serpents here!
Okay, sorry, I'm done. Iran's hostility towards Israel isn't a centuries-old beef. I think it fully started after the Islamic Revolution. Before that, they were sort of almost allies, right? I don't know if I'd say they were allies, more that I don't hear Iran pop up much, or Iraq through the 60s, 70s, much at all. I just don't. But that's just from the Israeli history perspective, so I don't know what they were doing over there. Iran might feel a certain type of way about the West, though, after the revolution and the coup and all that, maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. If you had to put $10,000 on it today, would you bet that a formal war will start between Israel and Iran in the next month? No. No, absolutely not. I just don't. It doesn't benefit either of them. I don't think either of them have the forces for it, and I don't think Israel just doesn't want Iran to have nukes, and that's what all of their military stuff will center around. Iran's not going to. How far would that even be? Like, if Iran wanted to march an army to, and I don't know what the relationship is with Iraq in terms of them being. Like, I don't think that. I just don't think it would happen. I don't think so. My understanding is that these nuclear facilities are extremely shielded. For example, the Natanz nuclear facility has a 7.6 meter concrete shield, and this was just destroyed by Israel. Okay. I don't know. I don't know anything about, like, weapons or whatever. Can you summarize for a stupid person like me why America and a bunch of European nations are allowed to bomb the crap out of the Middle East and build nukes, but Iran isn't allowed to build any? This sounds like I'm being antagonistic, but can't be fucked, phrasing it properly, based. So one big issue that Westerners have is we kind of view the Middle East as one thing. It's not. Middle East is a lot of different competing forces. There are people that like it when we go to the Middle East and bomb the shit out of some people. For instance, when we bailed or saved Kuwait after Saddam Hussein invaded them. I think Kurdish people, I think, generally like us because they get kind of bullied by everybody, and I don't think we usually fight with them, although Trump kind of fucked them over a little bit when he left after Syria. And then there are other people in the Middle East that obviously don't like us, but I think generally speaking, the U.S. is like friendly-ish with everybody in the Gulf, and generally we're not friendly-ish with, like, I guess, like Syria, Iraq, Iran. I don't know what the current relationship is like with Iraq. I don't know for the new regime in Syria, though. In terms of having nukes, the reason why a bunch of European nations don't have nukes, I believe it's the U.S., I think Britain and France, I think are the only three. I think that we don't want anything, generally people around the world just view it as like the more nuclear nations there are, the higher the chance there is of some kind of nuclear conflict. And once that starts, it can go off in a really bad direction. Yeah, not good. Destiny, you need to learn about Iran because you don't distinguish enough about Iranian people and their government. 85% of Iranians hate their government. I feel like every single time I brought it up, I feel like I've literally said that, but okay. That's one of the reasons why people liked expanding, encroaching things like NATO, and even to some extent like the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact, is a nuclear umbrella means that you have, a nuclear umbrella means that you have one nation that can provide nuclear cover for a lot of nations so they don't all have to pursue nuclear weapons, right? Do you think that Trump killing Soleimani was a bad idea, considering all the RGC people Israel has been killing with basically no repercussions? No, fuck Soleimani. I was a legitimate target. Fuck him. He got yeah, fuck that guy. The only reason why I might be opposed to that assassination is because I don't know if that hurt our relationship with Iraq at all. I don't know what our standing is with Iraq at all right now, though, so I don't know. But I don't know if that made them a little ass pained, because I think we killed him in an Iraqi airport. Oh, Israel does have the ability to invade Iran. I wasn't aware of this. The Yahweh Tunnel. Did you just say France didn't have nukes? I said France, Great Britain, and the United States. What do you think I said? That those three countries don't have nukes, and that those three countries do have nukes? As far as I'm aware, I think the only countries in the world that have nuclear weapons, I believe, are the United States, France, Great Britain, Russia, India, Pakistan. China must, I think, right? Israel has, they don't confirm it publicly, but everybody knows. And apparently South Africa had them and gave them up. People are saying Ireland. Does Ireland have nuclear weapons? Is that true? Did we look this up before? Is that a meme, or I don't know why people keep saying that? Oh, and North Korea. NPT, designated nuclear weapons states. So we have the United States, we've got the country of Alaska, France, Great Britain. States formerly possessing nuclear weapons is South Africa, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine. Although I could be wrong, I don't believe Kazakhstan and Ukraine had the ability to operate those weapons. But I've like barely read this one, so I'm not sure. Because they were stockpiles left over from the Soviet Union. I don't know if they had the codes or whatever and the ability to still utilize these, but they gave them up in those Budapest memorandums in '94. Other states with nuclear weapons, we have India, North Korea, and Pakistan. Sorry. And then Turkey might. Do we think that Turkey does, or is that wait, NATO or CSTO member, nuclear weapons sharing states? What does nuclear weapons sharing mean? That they can be deployed from those states, or they have NATO nukes? Oh, okay. Who are Iran's allies outside of the Middle East? And if they're not already, why wouldn't China try to side with Iran since it's against U.S. interests? I think Iran's strongest allies outside the Middle East, I think, were Russia, and that's basically it. I think China is like kind of an ally, but I feel like China is when it comes to military conflict and geopolitics in Europe and the Middle East, China kind of feels like a jungler who is just AFK farming, until 20 minutes. I don't know if China does anything or has the desire to do anything, or if they're just like, I just want to kind of chill over here and grow my econ, and that's it. That's what it feels like. Do you know South Africa is nuclear armed? I believe they gave up their nuclear arms a while ago. I think quite a while ago. Hearing Dusty talk about military stuff is so painful. Mr. Awesome 22, if you have something to contribute, feel free to say it, buddy. The apartheid government disarmed them because they didn't want the black government to have them. All right, based racism. What's the point of BRICS? BRICS is just an economic thing, and then some people fantasize or delusionally assume that they're going to come together like Captain Planet and do some crazy shit at some point, but... Yeah, wait, what? Am I misreading this? What countries? This is Spain, France, Germany, Poland, and that's Belarus. Oh, nuclear sharing means that they probably share nukes with Russia. That's not NATO shared nukes, that's Russia shared nukes. It just feels like with the nukes, there is a clear anti-Muslim bias there. Like the West collectively loses their shit at the idea of a Muslim country having nukes, whereas Christian countries and Israel get a pass. Is it that there's some sort of modern crusades versus jihad mentality going on? No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has more to do with first world, second world, third world stuff. Like the first world, the United States of America, and then some of their NATO sharing allies had nuclear weapons during the Cold War. The second world, Soviet Russia had nuclear weapons, obviously. And then third world, unaligned countries, non-aligned countries generally just didn't have the resources or means or anything to procure those. I don't know how India and China, or I'm sorry, India and Pakistan got nukes. I don't know the history of that. I don't know how they did it. India developed it themselves. Okay. No one gave a fuck? Somebody donated 2 minutes ago. Are you concerned that extremist killings by MAGA and leftists like Luigi could escalate into a Spanish Civil War style conflict? Maybe. Kind of fucked. Did you see the IAEA analysis that anything over 20% purity no longer has citizen research value? Yeah, I feel like for nuclear reactors, like 5 to 10% is the cap, but... I plan to do more research or reading streams sometime soon. Yeah, I need to find a way to like switch up. I don't know if I need like a different overlay or something, or to stream on a different channel. It's anytime I switch to reading or whatever, I notice it like, especially for DGG chat, like they basically just go off in a totally different direction. It's a little distracting and then I have to ignore it completely and it's just kind of weird. I have to figure out a way to like integrate that or manage that better. Always found explaining nuclear non-proliferation as a Mexican standoff to be a simple analogy. 3 people in a standoff is simple and stable. However, the more you add, increases the likelihood of a slip-up to happen. Yeah, maybe. How do we know Iran is at 60% enrichment? I'm sure there's some way to know.